let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, thank you for attending this the first of this new webinar series. Um, Today's topic is going to be diagnose your network's health in minutes via continuous assessment. Um, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through just a couple of slides, give some background on this particular topic, and then I'll show you a very quick demo in our environment around this as well. So all of this, this is powered by NetBrain NextGen, the new simple and powerful automation solution for your network. So let's talk a little bit about how this is, how this works and how NetBrain's helping. And before I do get any further, if you do have questions throughout the course of this demo or webinar, please use the Q&A panel to ask them, and I will be sure to answer your questions before we wrap up here today. So before we dive into kind of the details, let's talk about NetBrain at a high level for a second. So NetBrain is a no-code automation platform, as a lot of you probably know. And the great thing about NetBrain now is it can be, built, the automation can be built by anyone, and used by everyone. So even though one person's building things with their knowledge, remember this is something that now can be used across the entire network team and other teams in the organization as well. And you can see here kind of the 5 main use cases for NetBrain automation, and NetBrain's no-code platform. What we're going to focus on today is there's 3 main workflows that NetBrain automation can really be applied to, and it's troubleshooting. Of course, making sure troubleshooting your issues is much faster and more efficient. Continuous assessment, which is where our focus will be today, and network change. And all of these are powered by your automation library. So what this means is that with NetBrain now, we have the, and especially NetBrain NextGen, you have the power to really create your own robust library of automation. So that's not only powered by automations that we provide in our reference libraries that are free to download within the product, but also the automations that you build in minutes yourself with no-code automation. And of course, this automation library at its core is built from your knowledge. And going from your knowledge or your idea to an automation to, that's being continuously run across your entire network or used for troubleshooting, can happen in less than 1 hour. Honestly, probably you're looking at less than half an hour in a lot of cases. So, and for each workflow, we're able to provide, a brand new NetBrain summary dashboard. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the assessment workflow here in particular, because that's where today's topic falls into. But the idea here is now we have these really great, executive level summarized dashboards for very quick and easy understanding of the state of the network. And a common problem some network teams have is, how do I give someone clear and easy to understand visibility into my network, right? They don't want it to be complicated, but they want, whether it's higher level leadership or other teams, to quickly understand, how the network is running. And this is a really great way to do that, right? And powered by NetBrain automation. And when it comes to assessment, right, these are network-wide assessments. So across your entire network, right, all of your network devices, and they're continuous. So you could have things running every hour, every 4 hours, once a night, depending on criticality, but that's happening all the time. So you're continuously staying compliant. You're continuously ensuring that your failovers are working as intended, right? Or gonna work as intended if a failover happens. Things like this. And these are some of the questions that these continuous assessments are going to be able to ask, right? Things like what's changed in my network, just in general, right? Looking at changes. Are there deviations from my designs? So you have your own organizational, designs and policies that need to be in place, and you want to make sure they're not breached in any way. Is my network 100% healthy? So everyone has their own metrics of network health, right? It could be performance, could be from a security standpoint, but any and all of these checks you would normally do can now be automated with NetBrain. am I vulnerable to known CVEs and, NIST issues, right? So built in with the reference library is a library of NIST recommendation automations. So you can quickly understand if you're compliant with NIST, the latest NIST, which is the National Institute of Security and Technology, security recommendations, right? And then for CVEs, you're able to quickly, build and assess for those as well. Application paths being healthy, that's always critical. Hardware lifecycle information, right? Seeing if any hardware is end of life or end of sale, right? Does hardware need to be replaced in my network, and how big of a scope is that? And for hybrid networking as well, right? Are those networks healthy and operating as intended? And then of course, the other kind of admin stuff we want to do. How many times were auto diagnosis run last week? Are we seeing known problems occurring again on our network, right? Problems we've seen before that have been big issues in the past. Are we seeing key indicators of those problems again, right? Understanding that something could be creeping up on us is really crucial because we can stop it before it becomes that business impacting outage that we dealt with last year, right? We're making sure that doesn't happen to us again. Is my network sized correctly? You can understand from a capacity perspective, um, if your network's going to operate as designed, or do I need to add additional capacity, right? Do I need to get more bandwidth to support the growth of my organization? So, after seeing those few kind of those ideas, let's actually look at this in practice. So I'm going to flip over here to, in my lab here, I have a daily network assessment dashboard, and it kind of comprises a few of those ideas that I just listed in the PowerPoint into one place that I can easily come in here and understand the data. So, I can look here and I'll just show you kind of a couple of these different checks, and then we'll kind of drill deeper into one section. So the first section here that I really like, to be honest, is showing me the top devices with alerts. So I can look here and see which devices are having the most problems, right? And you can see here the list of problems that are being found. I can actually click on one of these, and NetBrain's going to show me, okay, for this device, this is all from the security problems, what's being found. But then I have a drop down here. I can see there's also been some config drift as well. Um, and I can see that, there's been some changes there as well, right? Some config drift. Now, the other great thing is here, I'm tracking a lot of different critical parts of my, critical parts of my network. So there's, my application. So here's all my application checks. I can see there's been some reachability issues in the last 30 days. My fault tolerance checks. I can see that those, I'm just going to refresh here to see if any more come in. Um, yeah, my fault tolerance checks here. I can see, is my HSRP stable, or are my high availability firewalls operating as desired? Performance, right? CPU and memory utilization. These are things that if they are creeping upwards can, indicate and start causing things like slow applications. So it's really great to track those as well, right across the network to ensure performance. Routing health, I also have in here. Here's my security dashboard with all those NIST compliance checks, as well as the checks I've ran for various CVEs that I've been told to check if our network is vulnerable in any place. Config drift dashboard. So, just at the bottom, maybe we also want to look and see across the network where we're finding changes. So really here now we have this unified place that at a glance I can understand what's going on in the network, and that anyone can understand what's going on in the network, because this is also very easily shareable, and I can even share it read-only with a one-time access code. So that's really the great benefits of this dashboard, is that now anyone can understand the work the network team is doing. So they're not, lost, or they don't have to have this vast technical and engineering knowledge that a lot of network teams have to understand what's going on in the network. And what's also good from here is, when I do have I do have these alerts here from this dashboard, I can actually drill in. So if I pick, the HSRP consistency check, for example, I could go ahead and view that on the map right from here, right? So I can map out the device, and I can actually view, the alert right on the map as well. And I can even use NetBrain's visibility to add devices to the map as well. And I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple of other links here. You can see I'm adding the HSRP. Um, and what I can do from here is, let's say I want to enhance that check, or, add a new check to that dashboard. How easily can we do this with NetBrain? So what I can do here is I can go to my intent section and I can leverage my library. Remember, we talked about the library is comprised of checks that I've completed on mine, I've created on my own, as well as checks that are from NetBrain's reference library. So I'm really combining my knowledge and the best practice networking practices that are out there into one library unique to my network. And now what it comes down to is, okay, I have these devices. With one click, I I select I want to run this failover check. I replicate it. And then once that's ready, with another click, I'm going to be able to execute that. And once I execute that, let me find a different one. So here we go. Here's some checks I can do for more utilization. But once I go and execute that, I'm going to see NetBrain's going to automatically run those commands on each device, and I've got output on top of the map. Now, of course, this can be more specific to um, failover or other performance issues as well. But the great thing here is, now that I have that, I can actually go ahead and, save this automation and come over to the map section. I'll just run it again. But then I can actually now go ahead and put this into a dashboard. So I can go ahead with one click and add this to a new dashboard. And I'll just call this Tor switches, and save this in my dashboard. And I go ahead and click create. Now my dashboard's been created. Well, what if I want to add it to a summary dashboard, right? That same output. Well, I can go ahead here and actually, with one click, add it to a summary dashboard right from here as well. So I can go ahead into my dashboards. I have my own, assessment dashboard. I'll add it there, and I'll add it to the failover health, for example. Or actually, no, I'll add it to device health. And now I can actually go ahead and open that dashboard. So with just a few, mouse clicks, I can build an automation and then add it to my assessments, right? Or use my library to build an automation and add to my assessments. So we'll go down to that device health section here. And what we're going to see here is that there's my check. Now, it's going to take probably another second here just to load in the data. But the idea here is that this is how quickly we can add to what's already existing, right? And now for a building, it's only, maybe a few minutes more to add what we're building. Here we go. Now we can see kind of the outputs here, right? We ran the checks on those devices. So, this is really the power of NetBrain now. It's that putting everything together in a unified place and very quickly turning our desired health checks into automation, and very quickly being able to add them to what we already have. So if someone does come to us and says, hey, we need to check this on the network as well, okay, in 10 minutes, I'll have that ready for you. When a lot of times that can take, hours of work to achieve. So, that's really, how crucial this can be, and even getting down to the visibility, right? So, that's was so I hope you enjoyed this demo. That's kind of what I had planned today, to kind of talk about network health. And remember, it can be for multiple different facets as well. Um, please join us in another couple weeks for the next session, where we'll be focusing on more of these topics, and how we can and how NetBrain can help with these assessments as well as troubleshooting, right, from different perspectives. But keep in mind that now this is where NetBrain can really get you to with these great dashboards. Right now, everyone can understand what's going on in the network and easily know where the issues are. So again, if you do have questions, we do have a few minutes more here. So if you do have questions, please add them in the Q&A tab, and I'm more than happy to answer, um, and dive in a little further. Okay, so there's a couple questions here. Um, how are the devices grouped? Well, that's actually a very good question. So, as part of the replication process, you can actually group these devices into what's called an automation data table. So you're essentially um, replicating the automation to a set of devices based on, you know, that certain criteria. For example, they have HA configured, or even something as simple as their Cisco router, and then NetBrain's been able to do that replication and create a database that can be referenced for continuous assessment. Um, Another question here, can NetBrain integrate with IT ServiceNow for instant change request and workflow automation? The answer here is yes. Um, we do have an integration with ServiceNow. It's actually you can actually get it from the ServiceNow App Store. And what it does is it allows NetBrain to be the first responder for any incident. Um, so when an incident comes into ServiceNow, NetBrain can be the first responder with automation and do the checks the engineer would do when they first see um, the incident. And as far as change goes, you can link NetBrain to a ServiceNow change request with our change management module, and you can, link approvals and things like that. Does the dashboard refresh automatically? The answer is yes. So you can actually go here and set up an auto refresh. So I can enable auto refresh and have this refreshing every 5 minutes or as often as I would like, right? Even this one here by default saying every 1 minute. And one of these webinar sessions, I can't remember which one, but there will be another webinar coming up where we focus more on that troubleshooting as well. So I'll give it another minute here for any last minute questions, and then we'll wrap up. Can NetBrain assess devices that are managed by on-prem solutions like Cisco DNAC? Um, and devices managed by cloud platforms like Meraki. So NetBrain discovers the network with CLI, SNMP, and API. So devices that are in Cisco DNAC, like our Cisco Nexus devices. So we can assess those devices by logging into them via SNMP and CLI. When it comes to Meraki, we can actually API to Meraki and discover the Meraki devices as well. And then once we have it discovered, we're able to do that continuous assessment. Um, I have a new install without dashboards. There way I can get templates. So, um, yes. So the way to get these templates is, or at least the base of these templates, is that you can install NetBrain's intent-based network assessment library. You have to be on version on our latest release, I think, or the latest couple of releases, and you can go to the uh, intent-based automation center. So we go to intents, or you can search up in here for the intent-based automation center. And there's a tab within here called NetBrain Download. And here you would have the ability to download the libraries, and you're looking for IBNA library. And this will download not only automations, but it'll replicate those automations, and you'll also get dashboards as well. You'll get the technical dashboards, which then with one click you can add to a summary dashboard. Does NetBrain support API integration with Mist, Meraki, Aruba? So for those kind of environments, we use API just for discovery, so we can discover Mist with API and Meraki with API. Fortinet and Aruba we discover with the CLI and SNMP methods, but that's really our API with those kind of platforms is more meant for the discovery. We can use automation to get information via that API to do some checks. But that would really be kind of what NetBrain's scope is around those kind of APIs. Okay, I'll just give it. Can you show NetBrain discovery on NSXT? So what I would recommend for this, because NSXT would be a full kind of specialized demo, you can reach out. You can either go to our website and request a demo, and our team will be happy to help you with a demo specific to NSXT. Or if you're already a customer, you can reach out to your NetBrain account team for to book a demo as well. And the book a demo link was also just posted in the chat for everyone to see there. So you're able to go through that link and you can book a demo. But I will say that NSXT is supported and we discover it via API as well. So there's full support for it. Can NetBrain work with Nokia NSP equipment? I'd have to check, but we support over 300 different vendors. So I know we do, and I know we do support some Nokia. So chances are we do. So it looks like we support Nokia Service Access Switch and Nokia OLT at the moment. However, what's great about NetBrain is if you don't see um, your device type listed, if you do become a customer, we can actually add support for that device. Especially if you can give us the white papers on it, we can add support for it relatively quickly. So that's what's great about NetBrain. That's what's really great about NetBrain's driver-based approach is that we can add support for devices on a relatively quick pace, and it doesn't require large full system updates to NetBrain. Okay. Uh, Looks like that's it for the questions. So, thanks again, everyone, for attending, and we hope you join our future bi-weekly webinars. Um, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.